Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the complex legacy of one of television's most recognizable personalities, Ellen DeGeneres, a comedian who broke barriers, built an empire, and eventually faced a very public reckoning. From stand-up comic to sitcom star to daytime talk show queen, Ellen's journey has been anything but ordinary. So why do some people absolutely adore her while others find her deeply problematic? Let's break down Ellen's career, the controversies, where she is now in 2025, and what might come next. Before the fame and fortune, Ellen DeGeneres was born on January 26, 1958, in Metairie, Louisiana. She grew up in a religious household and initially had no plans to enter show business. After dropping out of the University of New Orleans, she worked a variety of jobs, from waitress to house painter to oyster shucker. Her entry into comedy came almost by accident. At a public speaking event, she used humor to calm her nerves, and the audience's positive reaction sparked something in her. By the early 1980s, she was performing stand-up in small clubs around Louisiana.
But that's all right, because we're all here. We all have one thing in common. We're all gay.
Before eventually moving to San Francisco and then Los Angeles to pursue comedy more seriously. Her early comedy was observational and quirky, focusing on the absurdities of everyday life rather than the edgier material many of her contemporaries favored. This accessible style would become her trademark. Ellen's big break came in 1986 when she performed on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Carson was so impressed that he invited her to sit on his couch after her set, a rare honor for a first-time guest and a signal to Hollywood that a new star had arrived. Throughout the late 1980s and the early 1990s, Ellen continued doing stand-up while landing small roles in films and TV shows. She appeared in movies like Coneheads and had a short-lived Fox sitcom called Open House. But it was in 1994 when ABC launched Ellen, initially titled These Friends of Mine, that DeGeneres truly became a household name. The sitcom was a modest hit, following Ellen Morgan, played by DeGeneres, and her friends in Los Angeles. It was, in many ways, a typical 90s sitcom, until it made television history. By 1997, Ellen had been struggling with her sexuality, both on and off screen. The character of Ellen Morgan seemed to lack romantic storylines, which network executives were beginning to question. Behind the scenes, DeGeneres was grappling with whether to publicly come out. On April 30th, 1997, in an episode titled The Puppy Episode, Ellen Morgan came out as gay to her therapist, played by Oprah Winfrey, and eventually to her friends. The episode drew an estimated 42 million viewers and won a Peabody Award and an Emmy. 2 weeks later, DeGeneres herself had come out on the cover of Time magazine with the now famous headline, "Yep, I'm gay." She also appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show to discuss her sexuality. This was genuinely revolutionary. In 1997, no prime talk network show had ever featured an openly gay lead character. The Defense of Marriage Act had just been signed the previous year, and the societal attitudes toward LGBTQ+ people were far less accepting than today. The aftermath was swift and harsh. While many celebrated Ellen's bravery, advertisers pulled out of the show. ABC placed a parental advisory warning before episodes. The final season of Ellen saw the network reducing its promotion and eventually canceling the series in 1998. Ellen later revealed she received death threats and her career went into a tailspin. For nearly 3 years, she couldn't find steady work in Hollywood. In interviews, she described this period as deeply depressing and financially challenging. Despite her previous success, "I thought everyone would love me because I was finally being honest," she told The Guardian in a later interview, "but I was surprised at how homophobic people were." This period showed the very real professional consequences that coming out could have, even for an established star. Many LGBTQ+ actors and actresses have credited Ellen's sacrifice as making their own paths easier. Ellen gradually returned to stand-up and landed a new sitcom called The Ellen Show in 2001, which lasted only one season. She voiced Dory in Pixar's Finding Nemo in 2003, a role that introduced her to a new generation and showcased her talent for voice acting. But the true comeback began in September 2003 with the launch of The Ellen DeGeneres Show. The daytime talk show was initially a gamble. Many wondered if middle America would accept an openly gay host in their living rooms every afternoon. the gamble paid off spectacularly. The Ellen DeGeneres Show found its footing by focusing on celebrity interviews, human interest stories, audience participation, and Ellen's playful sense of humor. Her dancing down the aisle to greet the audience became a signature opening. By its third season, the show had become a ratings powerhouse and a celebrity destination. A guest spot on Ellen's couch could launch a career or revive one. The show won an unprecedented 61 Daytime Emmy Awards during its run. Part of what made the show so successful was Ellen's interview style. Unlike more confrontational hosts, she created a space where celebrities felt comfortable enough to let their guard down while still delivering memorable moments. Her scared pranks, where she would startle celebrities during interviews, became viral sensations. Her games like 5-Second Rule and Heads Up, which became a successful app, were engaging and fun. And segments like Ellen's Dance Dare encouraged audience participation beyond the studio. As the show grew in popularity, so did Ellen's reputation for generosity. The show regularly featured giveaways to audience members and viewers at home. During the annual 12 days of giveaways, audience members would receive thousands of dollars worth of products. More significantly, Ellen highlighted people doing good in their communities and often surprised them with life-changing gifts, paying off student loans, providing houses to families in need, and funding college educations. Through her partnership with companies like Shutterfly, the show donated millions to individuals and causes. Ellen and her wife Portia established the Ellen Fund to support global wildlife conservation with a particular focus on saving mountain gorillas. This philanthropic image, combined with her sign-off phrase, "Be kind to one another," cemented Ellen as not just an entertainer, but a cultural force for good. For many viewers, Ellen represented the best of celebrity, someone using their platform to spread joy and help others. As Ellen's star rose, so did her business ventures. She launched a lifestyle brand, ED Ellen DeGeneres, which includes home furnishings, apparel, and pet products. She created 1111, a record label, and Ellen Digital Ventures, which produces original content. She authored 4 books, including best-selling memoirs and coffee table books. She produced shows like Little Big Shots and Ellen's Game of Games, expanding her television footprint beyond her talk show. By the mid-2010s, Ellen had become one of the highest-paid celebrities in the world, with annual earnings exceeding $80 million, according to Forbes. She purchased and flipped multiple luxury properties, further adding to her wealth. Ellen's transformation from comedian to mogul represented the complete reversal of her post-coming-out career slump. For many, particularly in the LGBTQ+ community, her success symbolized progress, proof that an openly gay woman could become one of America's most beloved and powerful entertainers. Despite her success, occasional controversies hinted at a disconnection between Ellen's public persona and private behavior. In 2016, she faced criticism for a tweet showing her riding on Usain Bolt's back with the caption, "This is how I'm running errands from now on." Many found the image of a white woman riding on a black man's back racially insensitive. During the 2019 Kevin Hart Oscars controversy, when Hart stepped down from hosting after past homophobic tweets resurfaced, Ellen invited him on her show and advocated for his reinstatement. Many in the LGBTQ+ community felt she was dismissing legitimate concerns about Hart's comments. Then, there were the awkward celebrity interviews that went viral for all the wrong reasons. When Nicole Kidman appeared on the show, Ellen reminded her about a previous visit where Kidman had mentioned that Ellen had once failed to invite her to a party. The interaction seemed tense and uncomfortable. Dakota Johnson's 2019 appearance became infamous when Ellen claimed she hadn't been invited to Johnson's birthday party. Johnson corrected her, saying, "Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen," and confirmed Ellen had been invited but didn't attend. These moments, while seemingly minor, began to chip away at Ellen's carefully constructed image of kindness and relatability. In March 2020, comedian Kevin T. Porter started a Twitter thread asking people to share the most insane stories you've ever heard about Ellen being mean. The thread went viral, with thousands of responses from people claiming negative interactions with the host. As the COVID-19 pandemic forced production changes, Ellen began filming from home. In an April 2020 monologue, she compared quarantining in her multi-million-dollar mansion to being in jail, a comment that struck many as tone deaf, given the real hardships people were facing. But the real turning point came in July 2020, when BuzzFeed News published an expose featuring interviews with one current and 10 former employees who alleged a toxic work environment on the show. They described experiences of racism, fear, and intimidation. One former employee, a black woman, detailed multiple instances of racial microaggressions and comments about her hairstyle. Others described being fired after taking medical leave or bereavement days. Many reported a culture of fear where speaking up meant risking your job. A follow-up BuzzFeed article contained allegations of sexual misconduct, harassment, and assault by several executive producers on the show. While most allegations weren't directed at Ellen herself, many felt she should have known what was happening at the show bearing her name. Warner Media launched an internal investigation, and Ellen sent a letter to her staff taking responsibility. On day one of our show, I told everyone in our first meeting that the Ellen DeGeneres show would be a place of happiness. No one would ever raise their voice, and everyone would be treated with respect. Obviously, something changed, and I am disappointed to learn that this has not been the case. When the show returned for its 18th season in September 2020, Ellen addressed the controversy in her opening monologue. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show. 3 executive producers were fired, and Warner Brothers announced a new employee benefits, including additional paid time off and liberal medical leave policy. Nevertheless, the damage was done. The show's ratings declined significantly during its 18th season. Major celebrities who had once been regular guests seemed to appear less frequently. In May 2021, Ellen announced that the upcoming 19th season would be her last. While she insisted the decision wasn't due to the controversy, the timing suggested otherwise. The final episode aired on May 26, 2022, ending a 19-year run that had transformed daytime television. Despite the controversial end to the show, Ellen's cultural impact remains undeniable. As one of the first openly gay celebrities to achieve mainstream success, she helped change public perception of LGBTQ+ people. A 2015 poll found that 23% of Americans said their views on gay rights had been influenced by Ellen, an extraordinary impact for a single individual. When same-sex marriage was legalized by the Supreme Court in 2015, many credited Ellen as having helped pave the way for greater acceptance. Her comedy style, observational, slightly absurdist, but never mean-spirited, influenced a generation of comedians. Her talk show format, which balanced celebrity interviews with regular people and viral content, had been widely imitated. As an entrepreneur, she showed that authenticity, or at least the appearance of it, could be a powerful brand. Her successful product lines demonstrated how celebrities could extend their influence beyond entertainment. Today, public opinion on Ellen remains sharply divided. Her supporters view her as a trailblazer who sacrificed her career to advance LGBTQ+ rights, a philanthropist who gave away millions and highlighted deserving individuals, someone who took responsibility when workplace issues came to light, a victim of unrealistic expectations that female celebrities be unfailingly nice.
As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected.
And as an entertainer who brought joy to millions for nearly 2 decades. Her critics see her as someone who built a brand on kindness while allegedly allowing a toxic workplace, out of touch with ordinary people despite claiming relatability, a powerful figure who didn't adequately protect vulnerable employees, an example of the disconnect between celebrity public personas and private behavior, and someone who never fully acknowledged her personal role in workplace problems. This divide reflects broader cultural conversations about cancel culture, accountability, and whether we can or should separate artists from their personal failings. Since ending her talk show in 2022, Ellen has maintained a relatively low profile compared to her previous ubiquity. Now, 67 years old, she appears to be selective about her public appearances and professional commitments. In late 2022, 2023, she returned to her roots with a stand-up comedy tour titled Back to the Beginning, performing in theaters rather than arenas, a more intimate setting that recalled her early career. The tour received generally positive reviews, with critics noting that her observational humor remained sharp, even as she addressed her fall from grace with self-deprecating jokes. In 2024, she released a Netflix comedy special that addressed the controversies more directly than she had previously. While some viewers appreciated her candor, others felt her attempts to contextualize the workplace allegations came across as defensive. Ellen and Portia de Rossi, her wife since 2008, continue to be involved in real estate, buying and renovating luxury properties. Their Ellen Fund has expanded in conservation work beyond mountain gorillas to other endangered species. In 2025, Ellen launched a podcast called Just Talking, featuring one-on-one conversations with friends, fellow comedians, and experts in various fields. The format allows for deeper discussions than were possible in her talk show's brief segments. She's also increased her focus on her Ellen DeGeneres home and lifestyle brand, which has remained successful despite the controversies surrounding its founder. Industry insiders suggest several possible paths for Ellen's future. 1. A return to acting. While unlikely to take on another daily talk show, Ellen might return to acting in carefully selected projects. Her voice work as Dory was universally praised, suggesting animation could be a comfortable lane. 2. Production. Through her company, A Very Good Production, Ellen could focus on developing and producing content rather than starring in it. This would utilize her industry knowledge while keeping her out of the spotlight. 3. Writing. Ellen has previously published several books, a comprehensive memoir addressing her entire career, including the controversies, could be compelling. 4. Focused philanthropy. The Ellen Fund could become her primary focus, following the model of other celebrities who have transitioned to full-time charitable work. And finally, 5. Digital content. Her podcast could expand into broader digital platforms, potentially including video content that would give her creative control without the constraints of network television. At this stage in her career, financial concerns are likely minimal, with a net worth estimated at over $500 million. Ellen has the freedom to pursue only projects that genuinely interest her. Ellen's career offers several valuable lessons about celebrity culture and the entertainment industry. 1. The power and peril of personal branding. Building a brand around being nice created enormous success for Ellen, but also set a standard almost impossible to maintain. When the gap between brand and reality became apparent, the backlash was severe. 2. The evolution of LGBTQ+ acceptance. Ellen's journey from career collapse after coming out to becoming one of America's most beloved figures demonstrates how dramatically public attitudes shifted over 2 decades. 3. Workplace culture matters. The Ellen controversy helped spark broader conversations about workplace environments in entertainment. It demonstrated that even successful, seemingly positive workplaces can harbor toxic elements if leadership doesn't actively prevent them. 4. Complexity of public figures. Ellen's story reminds us that public figures are neither saints nor villains, but complex individuals capable of both groundbreaking courage and significant failures. And 5. The limits of cancellation. Despite the controversies, Ellen wasn't canceled in the absolute sense. She chose when to end her show, continues to run successful businesses, and remains wealthy and influential, if less universally beloved. Ellen DeGeneres' legacy is as complex as the woman herself. She helped change the landscape for LGBTQ+ representation in media, making it easier for shows like Modern Family, Schitt's Creek, and countless others to feature gay characters without it being their defining characteristic. She built an entertainment empire based on humor and kindness, bringing joy to millions while raising money for countless causes. For many years, she seemed to represent the best of what a celebrity could be: authentic, generous, and relatable. Yet, the workplace allegations raised important questions about how we separate public personas from private behavior and about accountability in Hollywood. They revealed the often unseen labor and occasional mistreatment that can exist behind the scenes of even the most positive-seeming productions. Perhaps Ellen Ellen's story is ultimately about the impossibility of knowing public figures truly, or about how the pressure to maintain a perfect image can create an unsustainable expectations, or about how even groundbreaking figures can lose touch with the values that made them the revolutionary in the first place. Whatever your view, there's no denying that Ellen DeGeneres changed television, comedy, and LGBTQ+ representation in profound ways. Her influence will be felt long after the controversies have faded from memory. What do you think about Ellen's legacy? Is she a flawed hero, a cautionary tale, or something in between? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations of complex pop culture figures. Thanks for watching.